thank you for joining me this afternoon. Can I just start off by saying the response and all of the comments has just been absolutely amazing and fantastic from my first live show, which was 2 weeks ago. So today's live show is obviously going to be a Mother's Day special. But before I move on to that, I would just like to comment and obviously shout out to Amy Lou Costume and Creation and also Chloe Rianne Embroidery just for this wonderful custom apron that has been made for me. For those of you who are new to watching me, my name is Rada and I am the Spicy Flexitarian. You can find me on Instagram and you can also find me on Facebook. So with it being a Mother's Day afternoon tea with a slight twist, I am going to have my mum in the kitchen with me today. So my mum's called Usha, so she will be joining me today. Again, I've got my laptop so I can see all of the comments coming in, so please do feel free to comment, ask any questions. You know, I really want this to be a nice friendly environment for everyone. So without further ado, let's tell you what I'm going to be preparing today. So on the menu today, we are doing an afternoon tea. Now with an afternoon tea, it's got 3 tiers. So on the bottom tier is your savoury. So the savoury things we're going to be doing are a chaat, a keema puff. A keema puff is like a minced meat sort of pasty, but a bit more on that later. We're also going to be doing an aloo tikki with some mint chutney, and then because it's an afternoon tea, we can't not have a sandwich. So of course we will be having cucumber and cream cheese fingers. And then on to the middle tier, that's going to be cardamom and sultana scones with jam and cream. And then the top tier will be, we have a lemon posset with an almond shortbread biscuit. We've also got a carrot cake with some cream cheese frosting. We're also going to do a raspberry cheesecake brownie, which sounds very intriguing. I can't wait to show you that later. And then a fruit tart. So with the first thing we're going to do is the keema puff. So Mum, do you want to come join me in the kitchen, please?
Hello.
So again, for everyone who's watching, this is my mum, this is Usha. She's going to be joining me today.
And happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there.
Yes, indeed. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. For tomorrow, I should say. So yeah, the first thing we're going to be doing is a keema puff. So as you can see in front of me, I have my ingredients. Now, I have pre-made my keema just because it needs to rest and it needs to cool overnight before we put it into the pastry. So this is the keema that we've got here. And again, all of the recipes, all of the ingredients will be put onto the Spicy Flexitarian website. But this is the keema that I've made here. And to that, we're then going to add some spring onions. We're also going to add some peas, and we're also going to add some coriander. And of course, I've got shop bought pastry because, well, it's the easiest thing to do. And I must quote, I am using this recipe from Dishoom. It's such a fantastic cookbook. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if you can see, the pastry should come out looking like something like this. But as you can see on the screen, I've got the ingredients there. So this is the keema. You can use lamb mince. That's what keema translates to, lamb mince. But because I'm a vegetarian and because my family are vegetarian, we are going to be using a meat alternative. But it smells, it tastes, it looks exactly like meat. So it's quite, you know, it's quite clever in that way. So we're going to be using a veg alternative. So I'm just going to close this book and put that away for now. Okay, so we're going to add our mince into a bowl. And this has got peas in already, and it's got some mint in, some coriander, salt. There's lots of things there, isn't there?
Yeah, so this is corn mince, and what we did was we cooked this last night with some Greek yogurt and some coriander mint and some olive oil, and it's just essentially a keema recipe. And then what we did was we added some flour just to thicken it up a little bit, and then we've left it to cool overnight.
Yeah. So we're going to add the mint into a large bowl, and to that we're just going to add some fresh, I've lost the word, what's it called? Spring onions. So we're going to add some fresh spring onions, and the reason why we're adding fresh ingredients to the already cooled mixture is because it brings out a lot of flavour, and it's very, very fresh and light. So we're going to add in the spring onions. We're also going to add in some peas. Now, again, because I've said we've already got peas in there, we're only adding 15 grams of peas, which looks like a little bit, but like I said, there are peas already in the mixture. So we're going to add our peas.
I just think it makes it look a bit more vibrant, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it look a lot more colourful as well. And then coriander, because anyone who's cooked Asian food knows that coriander is just so fresh and really, really delicious. So we're going to add the coriander to that.
So while you're doing that, shall I roll the pastry out rather?
Can I just pass that to you just to put over there for now?
Yeah.
Thank you. So then we're just going to give that a nice mix, and then we're just going to incorporate all of those ingredients together.
What's the flour in?
Yeah, so when you're rolling out your pastry, it's always good to just lightly flour the surface, just so it doesn't stick. So I'm just going to move that over there for now, and I'm just going to get a rolling pin. Tip as well, always flour the rolling pin too, because the pastry doesn't only stick to the surface, but it does tend to stick to the rolling pin as well.
So as Radha said, this is just shop bought pastry. So what she's going to do is just slightly flatten it so that it's actually just a centimetre longer and probably a centimetre wider as well.
And like I said, you can always make your own puff pastry, but one thing I've learned from, prepping for today is it's nearly impossible to construct and make an entire afternoon tea within an hour. So a lot of the prep has already been done yesterday and today. But like I said, all of the ingredients will be on the Spicy Flexitarian website, so you can still, make them yourself. But I've not been able to do everything within the hour. So I've rolled out that pastry. I'm just going to gently flip that over.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're now just going to cut this in half. So if you just cut that in half, Radha,
Yep.
and then what we're going to do is just use one of these halves, I think, and just if you just fold, I'll take that. I'll take that one away. And what we're going to do is just slightly roll it out a little bit. And I think that's great. And we're going to just cut that now into half. I think that's perfect, don't you? And then if you just cut that into half lengthways.
This way?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. Just cut it in half. And then if you just cut it.
This is one thing I like about having my mum in the kitchen is I learn from her. So, when we are both in the kitchen, it tends to be I will start doing something and then my mum will just take over and finish the job. But it's always good to learn, especially from your parents. So, it's nice to have her in the kitchen with me today.
And so what we need to do is just stretch these out into like some square. So just gently stretch these out. So how many are you planning on making?
Well, it's an afternoon tea, so let's just make 2 each perhaps. Oh, no, 1 each, which is
we'll
2
do a
in
couple.
total.
So there's your stretched pastry.
Yep.
And then what you want to do is you just want to, I think if you just put a teaspoon.
Yeah, so you just want to add a teaspoon to the corner of the mixture.
So just pop it out there, yeah. Right. And then you just want to
I've just got some milk here. You can use an egg wash, but I'm just using milk. So I'm just going to put that on the pastry just to seal it.
all the way around it, yeah. Right. And then you just flip the corner to corner.
So as you can tell, my mum's made these before. I haven't, which is why she's telling me how to do it and what to do.
So if you just flip that corner over there, that's perfect. And then you can just crimp the edges together. So all you need to do is just gently crimp the edges together. So if you just crimp them, now you can either use a fork or you can just gently just pinch them together so that they look really pretty.
And is it sort of like a little bit like a samosa in that?
Do you know, you're
concept?
so right, Rada. Samosas are actually fried, whereas these we tend to bake in the oven and they're a puff pastry, and they're a treat actually. And we tend to eat these probably as a mid-morning snack, you know, with a cup of masala chai, or we have them for afternoon tea. And they're normally served in some of the cafes in Bombay, and they're delicious. So I'll give you those. They look really pretty.
So as you can see here, I've just got a tray. I've just lined it with baking paper, and a tip is put some butter in the corners of the tray. It just helps stick the baking paper. So we're just going to place our keema puffs onto the baking tray, and then we're just going to brush that lightly with some milk. Again, you can use an egg wash, but I just find it easier to use milk, and this will give it a nice golden colour.
I'll just move this out of your way.
Thank you.
And if you use all this pastry, you should be able to make probably about 12 of these, of these keema puffs.
So they are now going to go into the oven at 190 degrees. We've got a fan oven, so it's 190 fan, and they're going to be, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, until they're golden brown.
Yeah, until they're golden brown. So just going to put them into the oven now. And fingers crossed they should come out nice and golden brown. Like I said, this is the first time I'm trying the recipe out.
You did a great job, that was fantastic.
We will see. Right, I'm just going to quickly clear down my station because it's a bit floury. Yeah. And then we will move on to the aloo tikki, which is next. Now, there's a lot to get through today, but like I said, please do feel free to ask plenty of questions and, comment anything down below.
So we tend to, we serve them, you can either have them with a nice tomato chili chutney, and we've got a really nice recipe for that, which Rada will hopefully share. But sometimes, if you haven't got any chutney, there's nothing better than a dollop of ketchup and a nice cup of hot tea as well. I'll let Rada get everything together for the aloo tikki.
Okay, so keema puffs are in the oven. They're cooking away. Hopefully they'll go nice and golden brown. The next thing we're going to do is an aloo tikki. Now, an aloo tikki, aloo in Hindi is potato, and a tikki is sort of like a patty. So we're going to shallow fry an aloo tikki. Now, the ingredients, as you can see, they're on the screen for you to, for you to sort of see what's been made. So in this bowl here, we have got some potato. Now, I have microwaved my potato. I've then peeled them and then grated them, just because I find it a lot easier to handle them and use them that way. And then to this grated potato, we are going to add 1 chilli. So I've just used a green chilli, finely chopped. We're then going to add garlic and ginger paste. Now, I'm using a frozen cube. I just find it easier to use that. Turmeric. Some chili powder. Some amchur, which is mango powder. Some chaat masala. Some ground coriander powder. Some salt. I've missed out something, but we're going to add that anyway because
it's cumin.
Cumin, thank you. Chopped mint, chopped coriander, and then corn flour, because that just binds everything together. Oops. Oh, I've got my new apron dirty already. Just dust
That's
that
a
off.
sign of a good cook.
Oh, it's nice to see that Luke's commenting on the apron. Can you just move that to the side?
Of course I can.
I will need that chutney
I'll
later.
bring that chutney to you later.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we are just going to give this a nice mix together now. Now you can use a spoon or you can use your hands. Sometimes I just like to use a spoon to start off with, and then I will go in with my hands because it's just a little bit easier to do it that way.
And Rada mentioned something really important actually. When you actually cook the potato, it's actually better to cook them in the microwave, because if you boil them or steam them, you tend to add moisture to them, and then you don't get that nice mixture, and there is the risk that it may disintegrate when you actually try to fry it in the oil. So it's best to actually use microwave potatoes. Just put them in whole and then just let them cool and then just skin them.
Yeah, so you want to bring this you want to bring this potato so it forms almost like a dough texture. And then what we're going to do, thank you, is we are going to just make little balls from this dough, and then we're going to shallow fry them. So just grabbing everything from there. Now, I find it easier to sometimes oil my hands as well, just because it's easier to sort of form.
Shall I do some as well?
Yeah, sure, get stuck in.
Just need the size of about a tablespoon.
I think yours are bigger than mine.
Yeah, and you just, it doesn't matter, so long as
I'll add a bit more.
And you want them to be quite dainty. I think we use this mixture as well when we're doing aloo tikki chaat, but we make the tikkis a little bit bigger.
Yeah, so as you can see, that's what they look like. So you just want to sort of form them into some nice small patties. Now, a good thing about these is that they can be made bigger. So if you wanted to obviously not serve these for afternoon tea or as a canapé, perhaps you can obviously form them and shape them to be bigger, which is really, really helpful. Do you want to start frying them?
Yeah, good idea.
And then I will
just
put the rest of this mixture away for now.
Yeah, that's fine. Let me just get these, and I'll take them over to the stove. So I'm just going to get my oil. I'll just check it's hot. And you want a medium-ish heat. Yeah,
so Mum's going to lightly fry these. So if you can see on the cooker now, Mum's just gently shallow frying these. And what shallow frying means is it means just a small amount of oil. So they're going to go in, and then she's just going to flip them.
So I'm just going to gently cook them I've got about a centimetre of oil in here, and it's just to gently fry them, and essentially it's just to brown them because the potato's cooked already. Now you can actually add some little fillings to this. You can actually add some chopped coconut with ginger in the centre, and sometimes you can actually put in some frozen peas that have been defrosted and that you've fried off with some cumin, and that adds a nice like a little bit of interest and you know, like a fill centre to them.
It's nice to see that Poonam's watching. Thank you, Poonam. Poonam's said that we're doing extremely well, Mum.
Hello, Poonam.
Poonam's
lovely
is one
to
of
see you.
Poonam's is one of Mum's friends, and you know she's lovely. She's such a kind and caring person. So it's lovely to see that you're watching, Poonam. Thank you.
So as you can see, they're browning really well, and so I'm just going to cook them. They usually takes a couple of minutes on either side, and it's just so that the outside becomes crispy, and then the inside retains that nice soft fluffy potato.
How are they coming on, Mum? Are
They're
they
coming
nearly
along
done?
really well, actually. They're nearly done. I've got about another more minute, and another few minutes, and it won't be long. Probably done. Have you got your dishes? How you're setting them out, or are you letting? Am I going to cool them first?
Yeah. So if you want to just put them on there.
Oh, thank you. That's perfect.
Just to drain the oil off. Yeah.
I'm just going to let them cook for just a couple of. Yeah. That's perfect. So that's really.
So you want to gently fry them until they become nice and golden brown, which is obviously, they don't take very long at all. So once they come out of the oil, it's always best to just put them on a tray, just with some tissue paper on, just so that it can drain off all of the excess oil. Perfect. Do you want me to just take them and
Yeah, thank you.
put them, I'll just put them there for now, just to let them cool.
I'll just,
Right, so keema puffs are in the oven. They are puffing up nicely, looking nice and golden brown. I can just see them. The aloo tikkis have been made and they are now cooling. What we're going to do is we're now going to do a chart. Now, there's lots and lots of variation to charts. There's samosa chart, which is where you add a samosa. You know, there's so many, but we're just going to do a simple chart today, which includes some chickpeas. I've just used 1 tin of chickpeas and I've just drained that, and I've also popped the shells off the chickpeas just so it's easier to eat. We're then going to have some cucumber, some onion, some coriander. We've then got some chaat masala, so this is the brand that I'm using. I mean, I'm not going to brand advertise, but just chaat masala. And then these are called sev, and what they are, they're basically like spicy Indian sort of biscuits. So we're going to be
like
using
brown
them.
flour sticks, and you can get them in different sizes.
Yeah, so we're going to be using them to just add a bit of more texture. Yogurt, tamarind sauce, again, I have to get a squeezy bottle into my sessions, and pomegranate. So we've got a nice big bowl here, and what we're going to do is we're going to add all of our ingredients to this big bowl. So chickpeas are going to go in, cucumber going in, onion, we're not going to add all of the coriander because we're going to leave some for garnishing. So we're going to add some coriander. We're then going to add some chaat masala. We're not using all of this chaat masala. You want to use around 2 teaspoons. Again, that can vary though, depending on how much sort of spice and everything you want. And then we're also just going to add a little bit of tamarind sauce to that as well. And then we're going to give that a nice mix. And again, usually you would add potato to this dish, but because we've got the aloo tikkis on the afternoon tea, I didn't want to add too much potato, so that's why we've added cucumber instead, which is what you wouldn't really add cucumber to a chaat. So I'm just going to taste that for flavour, just to see if we need anything more or less, or that's nice. Okay. Should I construct it now in the bowls, do you think? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so we'll construct it now in the bowls. So because it's an afternoon tea, we are going to serve these in miniature bowls. So we're going to take our chaat mix, which is here, and then we're just going to serve it into some little bowls.
Normally we would probably make this mixture about an hour before and then let the flavours marinate a little bit, you know, just to meld in. But obviously because we've got only an hour, we're having to showcase it now.
Yeah.
So
to the top of that chaat, we are going to add some yogurt. And then we are going to add some of the spicy Indian biscuits. And of course, pomegranate seeds, which just give a lot of freshness to this dish. And then we're going to top it off with some tamarind sauce. And of course, some coriander. And they are our mini chaats, which are going to be served on the afternoon tea stand when we all present it and put it together. So it's really, really, really simple to make. It's super, super easy, but it tastes really wonderful. There's so many different flavors. You've got the spice from the chaat masala, you've got texture from the chickpeas, the onions, and you've got freshness from the cucumber and also from the pomegranate. So we're just going to put them to the side because we are going to be using them on the afternoon tea when we present it all. And I'm just going to move this to the side. Now, of course, it wouldn't be an afternoon tea without a sandwich. And afternoon tea, when I think of it, I always think of cucumber and cream cheese sandwiches. So we are going to be doing cucumber and cream cheese fingers. I'm using white bread just because I think it's so classic to use white bread when you're doing an afternoon tea. So let's just get out some bread. And then we are going to spread some cream cheese onto the bread. This is so technical, really, really technical.
I see. I've noticed one thing, Radha, that you've actually taken the you've actually peeled your cucumber.
Yes, I've peeled my cucumber. I've taken off the skin of the cucumber just because I find it a lot nicer to eat cucumber when it doesn't have the skin on. And I think for an afternoon tea, it's really, really special just to make that extra change.
I think it makes it look pretty, doesn't it? And that effort does really show. And you want that daintiness, don't you? So
exactly. An afternoon tea is always about daintiness and, you know, very elegant sort of food. So we've got our cream cheese on our bread, and then we're just going to place our cucumber inside of the bread. Don't place your cucumber too close to the edges because we are going to be cutting the crusts off. So that goes on top like that. That goes on top like that. Yeah, I'm showing you how to make the perfect sandwich. And then we are going to cut the crusts off. Just because it's afternoon tea. Usually I'd eat the crusts.
I know, I used to insist that you used to finish all your crusts.
Yep, I could never have pudding unless I ate my crusts, so. And then we're going to cut this into 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So they are our cucumber and cream cheese sandwiches. So they have been cut and prepped, ready to put on the stand when we come over to presenting. So I'm just going to
look really dainty.
Yeah,
they look really dainty. I mean, there are other fillings that you can use as well. I mean, we've used cream cheese and cucumbers because we're making a spicy flexitarian, but you can use an egg mayonnaise or even a cheese, you know, just sliced thinly or grated, mixed with some mayonnaise. So there's very, you know, whatever you like. Smoked salmon and cream cheese if you eat fish, or you know, chicken and avocado. But it's whatever you want. And I quite like cucumber and cheese sandwiches, because it's an afternoon tea for me.
Yeah, there's so many.
My favourite.
Yeah, there's so many fillings that you can put in a sandwich.
I'm just going to check on these. Oh right, okay. Have you got some muffin gloves?
Yes.
Radha? I think. How long have they been? I think they've been in about 10 minutes,
yeah.
15 minutes.
Just
check those. I think they're done.
Yeah, they're good. Okay, I'm just going to quickly show you these. So these are the keema puffs. As you can see, they've just come out of the oven. They're nice and golden brown. They've puffed up, so you know it'll be really, really exciting to see what they
really
look like
good. So
inside.
we'll leave them to cool
Yeah, so I'm just going to put them over to the side. Just there, as you can see, nice golden brown, puffed up. Let's just turn them over. So a nice crispy bottom as well. No soggy bottom, as Paul Hollywood would say. So just going to move them over.
I've put that's fine. What do you need to turn the oven up to now for for your scones?
200, please. Okay. I can see that my auntie's watching, so hello. What's Grandma said? You will get curly hair, not eat. Yes, my grandma always told me that I would never get curly hair if I didn't eat my crusts. And I always wanted curly hair, so I always ate my crusts, but didn't really help. I've still got very, very straight hair. Okay, so we've done all of our savoury. Keema puffs have come out of the oven. The chaat is already made. The aloo tikkis are nice and cooling on some kitchen roll, and the sandwiches are cut. So we are now going to do our scones. So because it's an afternoon tea, you can't have an afternoon tea without a scone. Now, because it's an Indian afternoon tea, a very sort of Asian flavour is cardamom. So I've done a sultana scone, but I've added cardamom to that. So I have pre-made my dough. I did this yesterday. So I'm just going to take this out of the cling film just so you can see it.
Is it a good idea, Ada, to leave it to rest a day before? Is that why you made?
No, I just made it the day before because I simply would not have enough time to make everything in one go. So for the cardamom scone, as you can see, self-raising flour. You want to be using self-raising flour rather than plain flour. Butter, sultanas, caster sugar, milk, and then also a little bit of salt. And like I said, because we're doing an Indian afternoon tea, you want to be using 3 to 4 cardamom pods that you just want to gently crush and then add them to the dough. So I'm just going to flour my surface. And we're going to roll out the scone. Now, you want to be rolling the thickness out to around, what, 2 inches?
That's perfect,
yeah?
I think. Yeah.
And then we're going to cut them. This is the cutter size that I'm using today. Again, depending on how big you want to use your scones will determine on how, wait, did I say that right? Depending on how big you want your scones to be will determine the size of the cutter. So I'm just going to cut out some scones. Are they too thin? No? Are they fine?
They should be fine, yeah.
Okay. And then we're going to place these on a baking tray, which is here. Just going to move them off. Okay, so we're just going to place our scones on the baking tray, like so.
Just do a couple more as well, a bit thicker. I think that might be.
And then we're just going to roll the dough again, just kneading it again, just to bring it all together. And then we'll just cut some more.
That's it, yeah.
And then once you cut your scones, you then just want to gently brush them with some milk. Again, you can use an egg wash, but I'm just using milk. And an egg wash is 1 egg with milk added to it. And then they are going to go in the oven at 200 for around 15 to 20 minutes. So let's put these in. And hopefully when they come out, they will be nicely risen and they will be nice and golden brown and cooked. Just going to clear up.
you want to? Are you going to do your aloo tikkis next? Do you think, Rada? Or?
No, I will do them when I come to serve. Just wiping down. Okay, so moving on to the final tier of an afternoon tea, which is your sweet tier. So the sweet things that we have are a lemon posset with an almond biscuit. We have also got carrot cake with a cream cheese frosting. Then we have got brownies, and then just a little tart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the carrot cakes. Let me just grab them.
Oh, they look lovely. They're really dainty.
Okay, so these are the carrot cakes. Now I have pre-baked my carrot cake, and this is the recipe that I used for the carrot cake. Now I have used just nice little flower pot sort of molds, but you can bake them in normal cupcake tins, or you can even put it in a big cake tin and actually use it as a carrot cake rather than a carrot cupcake. So these are my carrot cakes that I made yesterday, just because they needed to cool. I didn't just make 2, there are plenty still, but for an afternoon tea we only need 2. And then my cream cheese frosting is in my piping bag. You can buy piping bags from, I tend to get most of my baking stuff from Lakeland. So this is where I got my piping set from. So I've just put my cream cheese frosting in my piping bag just because it's easier to pipe onto the cupcakes. So we're going to pipe that onto the cupcakes.
Are you using a plain nozzle, Rada?
Yeah, so I'm using a plain nozzle, which is just, as you can see, it's just circular. But you can get so many different types of nozzles. You can get star-shaped nozzles, you can get, wide nozzles, but I'm just using a circular nozzle just because I think it gives a nicer, cleaner effect. So,
and what did you put in your cream cheese frosting?
Cream cheese frosting was cream cheese, butter, and icing sugar. It was really, really simple. So to decorate, I have made some fondant flowers. Now I'm going to quickly give you a demonstration.
They're amazing.
On what I use to make these. So, pink food colouring and yellow food colouring. You're also going to need a flower cutter and fondant. Now I just used white fondant and then I coloured them to the colours that I wanted. So that's what I did. Should I do a quick demonstration? Have we got time?
Yeah, of course you have.
Go on. So I simply just broke off some of the fondant, and then to that in the middle I just added the food colouring that I wanted to use, so just some yellow. And again, you don't want to use too much because these are very, very powerful colourings. And then what you want to do is you just want to bring that all together and knead it together until that food colouring transforms into the rest of the white fondant. It's always best to use a bit of icing sugar on the surface just to stop the fondant from sticking, or you can just simply do it in your hand like so.
Okay.
So then what you want to do is, once that colour's been incorporated into the fondant, you just want to grab your flour, press that in, and then there we have a, oh, it's stuck. There we have a flower, fondant flower. So these are the ones I made earlier. As you can see, they're a little bit neater, just because I had more time to do it all. But yeah, so just putting that fondant away.
They look really, really pretty, actually, really effective in these plant pots.
So we're just going to decorate with a flower like so. And then let's just put another one on, because why not? So they are our carrot cake cupcakes with a nice cream cheese frosting and some flower decoration. So we'll just move them to the side. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is a lemon posset with an almond shortbread biscuit. Now here's my lemon posset. To make the lemon posset, what you want to do is you definitely want to do this the day before serving it, because it needs to set in the fridge. So for the lemon posset, it's simply just double cream, sugar, and then lemon juice and zest, which you just mix together into the pan, and then you just pour it into whichever molds that you want to pour it into, and then you just place it in the fridge to set. So that's the lemon posset, really, really simple. And then almond biscuits. To make the almond biscuits, all of the ingredients are shown, as you can see. Now, when that comes out of the food processor, it is very, very crumbly. You really, really need to work with that dough so it all binds together. And then the way I've cooked these is I have actually baked these in a muffin tin, just because I find that they hold the shape a lot better. So I bake my shortbreads in a muffin tin, and then you just want to gently, once they come out of the oven, press your thumb into the shortbreads, just because then it's easier to then place in the lemon curd. Like so. And of course, we're going to dust it with some icing sugar. So they're the shortbread biscuits with the lemon possets, and I'm just going to place a meringue on top of the posset with a lovely little raspberry, just because it looks really, really pretty. I've also got here some fruit tartlets, which are just pastry cases. Again, you can make your pastry cases or you can buy your pastry cases, and then I've just put some raspberry cream inside them, and then just put some berries on the top. So they are ready for the afternoon tea when we come to present everything. And then finally, what's Hayley said? Oh, they look lovely. Love the plant pots. Yes, the plant pots might look familiar, Auntie Hayley. Wonder where I got them from. Like I said, I shop at Lakeland a lot. I like to get all of my baking stuff from Lakeland, so those plant pots were from Lakeland. So the final thing which is going on to the afternoon tea is the raspberry cheesecake brownies. Now it sounds very complicated, but let me go and get it out of the fridge and I will show you exactly what I mean.
In the meantime, I'm going to make some Indian tea. Do you want me to just explain, Radha, what's going in there?
Yeah, sure.
So I've got some ginger. I've got some water on the boil here. I've got about 1 litre of water, and to this I'm going to add. I'm just going to bring that over. So it's just coming up to the boil, and I'm going to add some sliced some ginger there. So I've added about 3 slices of ginger, and then I've also got some sticks of cinnamon that I'm going to put in there, and I've got about 5 or 6 small green cardamoms that I've slightly crushed, and there's about 3 cloves and a couple of black peppercorns. So they're all going in there, and they're going to boil for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to let that go on, and then I'll show you what the next steps are. So it wouldn't be Indian afternoon tea without some Indian tea. So I'm just going to pop that there and just let that come to the boil. And you just let it boil for about 5 minutes until all the flavours start to infuse.
Okay, so the tea is obviously boiling away for all of the flavours to infuse, and I have got in front of me my raspberry cheesecake brownies. Now the recipe I used is from another of my favourite cookbooks. This is more of a baking cookbook, and it's the Hummingbird Bakery cookbook. There is so much in here. The carrot cake recipe is actually from this book as well. And it, like I said, it is really just a phenomenal book. So as you can see, there's the carrot cake recipe in front of us. So if you were going to do a carrot cake, it would look something like that, as you know, as it's being actually put into a cake tin. But we've just done muffins.
That's actually Martin's favourite cake, isn't it? He's had that for his birthday.
Yeah. So my brother, for his 19th birthday, wanted a carrot cake, so we baked him this carrot cake, and he loved it. So I'm just finding here we go, raspberry cheesecake brownies. So basically it's brownie on the bottom and then cheesecake in the middle layer, and then you top that with a raspberry frosting. And if I can just hold one up slightly, you can see the layers. So you've got your brownie on the bottom, your cheesecake in the middle, and then your frosting on the top. And you know, you can cut these into however big or small you want them. As you can see in the book, they're quite big, but because we're putting them on an afternoon tea, we're going to do them quite small. So we're just going to decorate these. We're just going to put half of raspberry on top like so. And then they're ready for the afternoon tea. And the recipe has obviously been put up as well, will be put up. Hopefully you'll be able to see that on screen as well for everyone to see. I'm giving the cameraman a lot of work today with lots of different slides. But like I said, the recipe will be on the website.
I'm just going to check on your scones, right?
There we go. So there's the ingredients. So they're the ingredients that you need for the brownie, and they're the ingredients that you need for the cheesecake. So you put the brownie on first, and then you put your cheesecake batter on top, and then you cook that. And then you let that cool in the oven overnight is best. And then you add on your raspberry cream topping. So they're ready to be served. How are the scones?
Oh, they look absolutely amazing.
Brilliant. Okay. So I think we are ready to serve up.
Do you want me to pass you your chutney for your aloo tikki?
No, I will need them, but not quite. Yeah, just pass that.
Pass that out to the fridge.
How's the tea going?
I'm just going to check. So if you want to come over now, have you got a spoon, Rada, please?
What type of spoon?
Just a teaspoon, please.
Yeah.
That's great. So as you can see, this is all really nicely boiling, and the flavours have really started to melt, to infuse the water. So I'm now going to add the tea. Now I like to use tea leaf. So I've got just some plain, just some normal breakfast tea blend. And I then like to add, I usually use Assam tea, and then I've got some Earl Grey as well, which just gives it a bit of, I like to make my own blends of tea, so it just adds a little bit of different depth of flavour. Sometimes I even use Brody's breakfast tea. If you've got tea bags, just stick tea bags in, and you just bring that to the boil and just let that boil for a few more moments.
So you add all of the spices to the tea, is that correct?
Yes, I've added all the spices to the tea, and you let that boil, and then I'm going to add, so that's a litre of water in there, the spices, 2 teaspoons, a teaspoon of each tea, and then to that I'm going to add 500 mils of whole milk. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that to the boil, and then that would probably simmer for about a good 15 minutes, but obviously we've not got that time today, so I'm going to just bring this to the boil, and then I'm going to probably pour it into the teapot. But it wouldn't be Indian afternoon tea with what we call masala chai. So I'm just going to put it on a fast boil on here. But it's delicious actually, and it really complements the Indian food.
Do you want the teapot? Have you got the teapot? It's here.
No, no, that's perfect. Thank you. That's great. I'm just going to bring this to the boil actually. And you've got to make sure that you do watch it, because it really is so easy to overboil. And I like my tea quite milky. And there's very different variations that you can make. You can actually make Iranian tea where instead of adding milk, you actually add condensed milk. So it's quite, there's various different ways of serving it. You can even serve it black without milk, and it's really, it is really delicious. So that's beginning to come to the boil. So normally I would let this come to the boil and then just let it simmer gently for about 10 minutes. And then strain it into my teapot. Sometimes you can actually add sugar to this tea as well, and you can actually allow the sugar to actually meld in. But I like to just add, let people add their own sugar to it. Radha, that looks wonderful. Wow.
Well, I don't think people have seen it yet, so don't give the surprise away.
Oh, wow, that looks amazing. That looks so pretty. So is that your aloo tikkis?
Yeah.
So do you want to just tell? So you put the coriander into the chutney.
Oh look!
Oh, Sangeeta, hello! I've just noticed Sangeeta's watching as well. Hi, Sangeeta. I hope you're well. I hope Pratap's well as well. It's lovely to see you.
These are all of Mum's friends that are watching.
Well, you've grown up with everybody, Raj, as well. They're all your aunties as well.
I have all of the parties and everything.
So I'm just going to watch this tea.
Oh, Auntie Hayley says looks nice. Hopefully one day I'll be able to make this for you all in person. Right, what are we missing? We are missing the tea.
So as you can see,
of
the
course,
tea is now boiling.
Champagne.
And what I would normally do at this stage, I would just turn it down and just leave it. And even if you get a skin forming on it, it doesn't matter. So I would just leave that now. But I'm going to actually strain this because we're a little bit short on time. So have you got a tea strainer, Radha, or
a big one?
The little one, please.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's perfect. That's great. Okay. So I would normally just strain that. Those cardamom scones smell delicious, Radha. I could smell the cardamom.
My grandma says fabulous. Oh, thank you. Right, of course, it wouldn't be an afternoon tea without some pink bubbly, so. There we go.
Oh, wonderful. And there we are. So that's a pot of masala chai. So where would you like me to put this? Shall I just pop it here?
You just put it there for now and then I'll take it off you.
There we are. That's perfect. It's hot. Yasmin's watching. Thanks, Yasmin.
Yasmin's one of my friends.
I know, what a lovely comment. I think when lockdown's over, hopefully we'll all be able to get together and, you know, enjoy ourselves as we used to.
Right, tea. Pour the tea.
I can smell the cardamom and the ginger. Let me just move these for you a little bit. That looks amazing. That's milky as well, just how I like it as well.
Yeah, you like milky tea. I'm not a fan of milky tea, but you love it. Right, so I am going to explain everything that we have here. So this is our Mother's Day afternoon tea with a twist. And as you can see on the bottom layer, we have got our savouries. So we have got a keema puff. We've got our aloo tikki. In fact, I can turn this as well.
Yeah.
We've got our aloo tikki, we've got our cucumber sandwiches, we've also got our chaat as well. And then we move up, we've got our scones with our cream and jam. And then we've got our biscuit, our brownie, our little tartlet, and of course our lemon posset with our carrot cake, and some pink champagne and some tea. So that's my Mother's Day afternoon tea. I also have a little something to give to my mum.
I wasn't expecting this. Wow.
Happy Mother's Day for tomorrow. So there's some flowers and some
and
chocolates. I hope you enjoy.
Thank you, darling.
That's okay.
Wow, that's lovely.
So yeah, so that's a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. That's great.
So I'll be round after lockdown. Hopefully, after lockdown is finally lifted, I'll be able to sort of present all of this food to everybody. What Sangeeta said looks perfect and yummy-yicious. I've never seen.
Yummy-licious.
That's a new word. I'm gonna have to start using that one.
Perfect. That's and Sangeeta and Poonam, everybody. When lockdown's over, we'll all have to get together, and Radha will cook afternoon tea make afternoon tea for us.
Yes,
which
happily.
I think will be great. Thank you.
So, Auntie Sunita said looks yummy. She'll be wanting samples.
Yes. I'm going to be sending samples around to all my neighbours today because we've got so much. So they're on their way, guys. So Radha, here you are.
Oh, one for me.
Yeah,
Thank
one
you.
for you. And
well,
happy Mother's Day, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Cheers.
Well then, I think that's the end of the show. Like I said, comment, share. Thank you everybody for watching. The support is just amazing. But this is my Mother's Day afternoon tea with a spicy twist, and hopefully my mum will enjoy this.
I'm really looking forward to this.
I will see you all again shortly. Hopefully maybe 2 weeks or so, we'll see. But bye for now. Bye from me. Bye from my mum. So bye-bye. Take care everyone. Bye.
Happy Mother's Day.